Man, some of you all hate this card. What's going on, students? This is Devlin Cassidy, aka The Scholar, and today if you guessed by the thumbnail, we're talking about one of the most divisive cards in this game to date, and it's kind of crazy. So, before we have this whole debacle, make sure you go shop with Kingslayer Cards, my team sponsor, and use the promo code Scholar, save 5% off. They do great and amazing work. And make sure you go rock out with Dank Ritual, all the best products in the game between mats, deck boxes, sleeves, everything. But we're here to talk about Gredora today and kind of my experience between White Plains and everything else. So let's get into it. So really, you guys know, for me, I think Gredora's fine. I think if you remove Gredora from this format, a lot of things go unchecked. And my biggest fear for White Plains was because of Narukami's relevancy. We were going to see a lot more Grand Blue, a lot more Neo Nectar, a lot more decks that I have a more favorable matchup against Naru. And that was the problem that I saw with like the whole thing in general, which was like a major issue, was why like we were going to see a lot of these decks that extend over Naru really well. So like maybe Mega Colony, this is the one where it sneaks in, which one Mega Colony player did sneak in to top cut for this event. And then there was just another major clearing issue I saw at White Plains. I did see a lot of other Bugs players, but I felt a lot of people just kind of picked up that deck without fully knowing like what it does. Like one of my errors was like I didn't get all of my matchup testing in. Like I didn't test against Breaker like I should have, and that costed me 2 rounds. So like it is what it is, but like a lot of people like went like 4-4 with the deck, 3-5, which I don't know how, because like this card is a shutout, right? But I think Gredora actually kind of belongs in this meta, because if you hit Gredora, you have to then start thinking about what other decks do beyond off this list of the Gredora effect. I'm not saying it's a healthy card by any means. Telling approximately like solidly 3 decks between like Neo Nectar, Pale Moon, and Grand Blue that they can't play, and then other decks like inside other clans like Shiryuki can't play for Murakumo. What else? Like Gold Paladin struggles now a little bit, even though they got a lot more like hand extenders. Like that deck got fixed. Royals got fixed with the new Premium Collection 2022 Stride. There's a lot of things happen, but there's some decks that truly just get hard shut out by Gredora, and I'm not discouraging those from the jump. But what I'm saying though is some of those decks have a very higher ceiling that we haven't seen yet because of Gredora's relevance in the format. I don't think though necessarily right now Mega Colony is one of your top 5 decks in the format. I think if we were going to talk about like top 5 decks, I think we should definitely, first, number 1, all should agree that Narukami is the best deck in format, which naturally keeps Bugs out of the top 5. I think DP is also very strong because Narukami's relevancy, like they're just going to swing their Vanguard and not care. I think another really good deck this format, honestly, is Melista. Even though like one like converted, like there's ones littered throughout the event. So shout out Eric Goff this weekend who finally got the convert. I think that deck's crazy. I think the best control deck this format is Breaker. Breaker has a really good matchup into a lot of decks right now. And them keeping Narukami off excels is crazy. So I wouldn't sleep on Chaos Breaker at all. There's a reason they've been topping like every event. The deck is very strong. If you're a good pilot and you know how to play that deck, you're going to win with Breaker. And I would kind of like slot the 5th deck to kind of really like anything. I think Grand Blue is still very good with History Collection. I think Angel Gize is actually pretty cracked. There was a lot of them at the higher tables in White Plains I saw walking around. I think I saw like 5 like at table like 20 and above. So that deck was played a lot this weekend, and then when I walked to lower tables, I saw like 2 or 3 more. So that deck's very strong. And I think what we have to understand is like in a trading card game, like so there's natural cycle checks to what's good. So if we say that Mega Colony is really good, and I'm going to throw up a graphic here, Mega Colony is really good against Grand Blue. Grand Blue is pretty good against Narukami because they have access to Bell and stuff. And then Narukami is really good against Mega Colony. So it's a full cycle of decks that check each other, which is absolutely fine. Neo Nectar is very good against Narukami. Narukami is really good against Bugs, and Bugs is pretty good against Neo Nectar. Like, it's the same kind of philosophy that we're having right now, of the where like we have these cycle checks. So, is Gredora going to be format relevant right now? Absolutely. Do we think that we may need to move on or change how this works? Probably. Does it need to be hit right now? Absolutely not. I don't think the change needs to be now. I just think that there are some players who only play certain clans and get punished by this sticking around, which I feel very sorry for you. I'm not saying like go out and buy a new deck or whatever. But I think like this card right now is too much of like a ban list itself, because I think once you unban this card, you have to go nuclear. I think you have to start hitting stuff out of Grand Blue. I think you have to start hitting stuff out of Neo Nectar. I think the minute they they flip this card, the between four choice restriction thing that Solemn talked about has to come about, because that deck's very strong. Neo Nectar was a deck I was considering for White Plains. I'm glad though I kind of didn't take it. I wish I took it just because I saw the 2 Chaos, but like between my other matchups, like Mega Colony was strictly better. Just in terms of advantage and like slowing down my opponent. So overall that was good. But now we're here to talk about kind of like what potential solutions there are if we're gonna fix Gredora. I think part of Gredora's power definitely comes from the ability to activate Mali. And so here's my thing. A lot of people said limit Gredora to 2, which I've talked about. I like Gredora to 2, but there's a better way you can do about it without giving Mega Colony more tools in their G-Zone. Because the minute you hit Gredora to 2, I can start sliding in more Overwhelm and more Obturandus and things like that. More tools that let me, like, fight you better. I think if you want to keep the G-Zone the same, but have the impact of Gredora be less relevant, you make it a Persona flip. Because then this turns off the ability of them to start getting the minus 10k so early, so then their aggressions turn out the window. So then they need to, like, the hard stride into this and flip the other Mali up to get the resources, which is why I think Gredora as a Persona flip would be a lot better for the game. That's my personal opinion. I know some of the people that I've talked about really want to see the Mali Gantus combo like go away, like they want that choice restricted. I say, well, if you choice restrict it, Gredora still Gredora still is at 4, which you're not removing that problem. If you limit Gredora to 2, you're still letting them flip Mali. And so you're still letting him have that insane resource advantage, which I'm not saying Maligantus is the problem enabler. Maligantus is a ceiling topper, because instead of like the Gredora units getting power, we just lower yours, which is kind of like oppressive. It's just the multi-attack. And there's a problem too, is like Gredora's Mega Colony's offense and defense on one card, which was kind of like why I say the card's poorly designed, because it's not balanced. Like, you can't hit this card and then expect Mega Colony to still be like really relevant after, which is my other problem too. I'm not saying like you kill the deck if you kill Gredora, but I think there's a better way to slow down Gredora's relevancy if I want to help people kind of like find a happy medium. And this is why it's called the Gredora Dilemma, because this card is very good. It checks a lot of good decks in the format, so that way we don't have an overrun or oversaturated meta, but at the same time you keep those decks from playing, which then in turn sours those people who enjoy those clans in the game. But overall, I think that making this a Persona flip is a very good idea, or limiting it to 1. Which I wouldn't want it limited to 1, because then Mega Colony only gets really 1 good turn, and then they start having to go into like really mid strides, like Obturandus and Overwhelm and other things, and that's something I don't want to do for them. So I think overall going forward, I think this keeps Mega Colony's G's on the same. You just make a Gredora Persona flip, and everything's fine. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know why you either love or hate Gredora. I like Gredora because I like a little control and tempo, but I can't understand why people have this problems, because it's such a blowout card. But, you know, again, just let me know how you're feeling. This is more of a discussion video for you all, just kind of get the conversation started, because I think it's something that does need to be addressed, and giving some of my takes on Twitter and everything. I just wanted to give kind of like my full side of like why I like to play Bugs and other things like that. It's definitely not because of the meta. It's just a deck I've actually picked up a few times, and I'm glad I'm back to playing it again and keeping all the Zoo clans around. But with that being said, make sure you guys go shop with Kingslayer cards. Use the promo code SCHOLAR, save 5% off on that order, and go shop with Dank Ritual. Go check out that Dank Ritual video. I'm gonna post it in the description below, and you know, because they got so many goodies. I mean, like look at this pretty box, like this calligraphy you can't get better on, man. So like so good. But you get to win some sleeves, and that's how we want to rock. So I love you all. a wonderful rest of your day, a wonderful rest of your week, and take care.
Stand it up for you.